chosen one, there comes a moment in life that feels almost invisible at first, quiet, subtle, easy to overlook if you are distracted by noise, fear, or routine. But something deep inside you knows that a shift is happening. You can't fully explain it, yet you can feel it in your spirit, in your thoughts, even in the way you respond to things that once controlled you. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is the beginning of your breakthrough season. And breakthrough seasons rarely arrive with loud announcements. They begin with inner transformation. One of the first signs you are entering your breakthrough season is a strange sense of discomfort with your current life. Things that once satisfied you now feel small, limiting, or empty. You may look around and realize that the environment you once tolerated no longer fits who you are becoming. Conversations feel shallow. Habits feel heavy. Even certain relationships begin to feel misaligned. This is not because you are becoming difficult or ungrateful. It is because growth is stretching your capacity. Breakthrough cannot enter a life that refuses to expand, so before the external blessing appears, the internal stretching begins. And stretching is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Another powerful sign is that you feel an increasing urge to let go. Let go of old mindsets, old fears, old attachments, and even old identities. It can feel confusing because part of you wants to hold on to what is familiar, while another part of you knows that holding on is what's preventing your elevation. You may notice that things you once chased now feel meaningless. Approval, validation, constant business, proving yourself to people who never truly supported you. Suddenly these pursuits feel exhausting rather than motivating. This is not loss. This is purification. Breakthrough requires space, and sometimes that space is created by release. When something is being prepared for you, everything that cannot go where you are going must gradually fall away. A third sign is emotional intensity. You may find yourself feeling things more deeply than usual. Moments of reflection may bring unexpected tears. Not always sadness, sometimes clarity, sometimes relief, sometimes an overwhelming sense that something important is unfolding even if you cannot yet see what it is. Emotional intensity often comes when buried layers are being brought to the surface. Old wounds, suppressed fears, and unresolved pain begin to rise, not to break you, but to be healed before your next chapter begins. Breakthrough is not just about receiving more, it is about becoming whole enough to sustain what you receive. Healing is preparation, even when it feels messy. Another sign you are entering your breakthrough season is heightened awareness. You begin noticing patterns you never saw before. You recognize toxic cycles more quickly. Your intuition becomes sharper. You sense when something is right and when something is deeply wrong. It feels like a fog is lifting from your perception. You are no longer easily distracted or deceived. You begin questioning what you once accepted blindly. This awareness is a form of awakening. Breakthrough requires discernment because new opportunities will come, and not everything that looks good is meant for you. Awareness protects your destiny from distraction. Then there is the sign many people misunderstand: delays. When you are entering a breakthrough season, things often seem to slow down, plans stall, progress feels blocked, doors you expected to open remain closed. At first this can feel frustrating, even discouraging, but what feels like delay is often divine alignment. Timing is being adjusted. Pieces are being positioned. Preparation is happening behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see. A farmer plants seeds long before harvest appears. In the same way, breakthrough seasons often begin underground, invisible but active. When nothing seems to be happening, the most important things are usually being formed. Another sign is an unusual pull toward solitude. You may find yourself needing more quiet time, more reflection, more distance from noise and distraction. Social environments that once energized you may now feel draining. This does not mean you are becoming isolated, it means you are being recalibrated. Solitude allows clarity. In silence you hear guidance you would miss in chaos. Many breakthroughs are conceived in quiet places long before they manifest in public spaces. Solitude is not punishment, it is preparation. It is where vision becomes clear and strength becomes rooted. And then there is the deep inner knowing, the sense that something is about to change, even if you cannot logically explain why. You may feel anticipation without evidence, hope without visible reason, expectation without proof. This inner knowing is powerful because it does not come from circumstance, it comes from alignment. Something within you recognizes that the season is shifting. Just as nature has cycles, so does your life. Winter never lasts forever. When the soil has been prepared, growth becomes inevitable. One of the most transformative signs of entering your breakthrough season is that your mindset begins to shift from survival to purpose. You stop asking, "How do I get through this?" and start asking, "What am I being prepared for?" Your perspective changes from endurance to expectation. You begin to see challenges not as obstacles but as training. Pressure stops feeling meaningless and starts feeling intentional. This shift is profound because breakthrough is not just about what happens to you. It is about who you become through what happens to you. You may also notice increased resistance right before things begin to change. Unexpected challenges, sudden discouragement, moments that make you question your progress. This is often the moment many people misinterpret and give up, but resistance often intensifies when you are closest to transformation. Think of pressure building before release. Think of darkness just before dawn. The presence of resistance does not mean you are moving in the wrong direction. Sometimes it means you are moving in the exact direction that threatens everything that once held you back. And perhaps the most beautiful sign of entering your breakthrough season is a growing sense of peace, not because everything around you is perfect, but because something within you has become steady. Even in uncertainty, you feel anchored. Even without answers, you feel guided. Even in transition, you feel supported by something greater than fear. This peace is not passive, it is powerful. It is the calm confidence that comes when your life begins aligning with its deeper purpose. Breakthrough seasons are not comfortable, they are transformative. They stretch, refine, and prepare you. They ask you to trust before you see, to release before you receive, to grow before you arrive. If you recognize these signs in your life, the discomfort, the release, the emotional intensity, the awareness, the delays, the solitude, the inner knowing, the mindset shift, the resistance, and the deep peace, then you are not stuck. You are not lost. You are not falling behind. You are being positioned. Something is being rearranged in your favor. Something is unfolding beyond what your current perspective can fully understand. Your breakthrough season is not just coming in many ways, it has already begun. And the person you are becoming right now is the very proof that your life is preparing to change in ways you once only hoped were possible. Stay steady. Stay aware. Stay open. Because when breakthrough finally becomes visible, you will realize that every moment of confusion, every stretch of waiting, every quiet transformation was leading you here to the moment when everything begins to shift and you finally step into the life you were being prepared for all along. And as this breakthrough season continues to unfold, you may begin to notice that your priorities are quietly rearranging themselves without force. Things that once demanded your full attention no longer feel urgent, while things you once ignored suddenly feel deeply important. You may feel drawn toward growth, toward discipline, toward learning, toward becoming more intentional with how you spend your time, energy, and focus. This is not pressure, it is alignment. When you are stepping into a new level of life, your internal compass recalibrates. You begin investing in what strengthens your future instead of what merely entertains your present. You start protecting your peace, guarding your energy, and choosing purpose over comfort. And while this may look small from the outside, internally it is a massive shift. Because breakthrough is not only about opportunities finding you, it is about you becoming ready to recognize and sustain them. You may also notice that your tolerance for negativity decreases dramatically. Drama that once pulled you in now feels draining. Arguments that once consumed your thoughts now feel pointless. You may even feel physically tired after being around certain environments or conversations. This is not weakness, this is sensitivity to misalignment. As you move closer to breakthrough, your spirit becomes less willing to carry what does not belong to your future. Negativity thrives where clarity is absent. But when your direction becomes sharper, anything that clouds that direction becomes heavy. You begin choosing distance without guilt. You begin choosing peace without explanation. And the more you do, the lighter you feel, as if something invisible is lifting from your shoulders. Another powerful shift that often happens in a breakthrough season is the courage to face truth. Not the comfortable version of truth, the real version. You begin seeing yourself clearly, your patterns, your fears, your habits, your strengths, your potential. There is less denial, less avoidance, less pretending. And although this level of honesty can feel intense, it is deeply liberating. Because nothing blocks breakthrough more than self-deception. When you are willing to see clearly, you gain the power to change intentionally. Awareness becomes responsibility, but it also becomes freedom. You are no longer reacting unconsciously, you are choosing consciously. And that alone can transform the direction of your entire life. During this season, you may also experience moments where your faith is tested in unexpected ways. Just when you think you are gaining clarity, something uncertain appears. Just when you feel strong, a challenge arises. Just when hope rises, patience is required again. These moments are not contradictions, they are confirmations. Strength is not proven in ease, it is revealed in pressure. Belief is not proven when everything makes sense, it is proven when trust remains, even without visible evidence. Breakthrough seasons often refine your trust so that when your next level arrives, you are not dependent on perfect conditions to remain steady. You become anchored in something deeper than circumstance. You may also begin to notice synchronicities, meaningful connections, unexpected insights, conversations that arrive at the exact moment you need them. Ideas seem to flow more easily. Solutions appear where confusion once lived. It may feel as if pieces of a puzzle are slowly finding their place. These moments can feel small individually, but collectively they create momentum. They remind you that you are not wandering aimlessly, you are being guided step by step. Breakthrough rarely happens in one dramatic moment. More often, it unfolds through a series of precise alignments that gradually build into undeniable change. Another sign your breakthrough season is active is that your vision becomes clearer, but also bigger. What once felt like a distant dream begins to feel possible. Not guaranteed, but attainable. You begin imagining yourself living differently, thinking differently, contributing differently. And at the same time, this expanded vision can feel intimidating. Because with greater vision comes greater responsibility. You may question whether you are capable. You may wonder if you are ready. But understand this, vision expands when capacity is expanding. You are not being shown something beyond you. You are being shown something that is growing within you. The discomfort you feel is simply the sensation of your identity stretching to match your potential. You may also notice that discipline becomes less forced and more natural. Instead of constantly battling yourself to do what is right for your growth, you begin to want what strengthens you. Consistency becomes easier because your motivation is no longer external pressure, it is internal alignment. You begin to understand that small daily actions are not insignificant, they are the architecture of transformation. Breakthrough is built through repeated choices, the decision to keep going, to stay focused, to act even when motivation fluctuates. And the more you honor these small commitments, the more confidence you build in yourself. Not loud confidence, quiet, steady confidence that comes from keeping promises to your own growth. At the same time, you may experience moments of deep reflection about your past. Memories may surface unexpectedly. Old chapters may replay in your mind with new understanding. You may suddenly recognize how certain experiences shaped you, strengthened you, or redirected you. What once felt like random struggle begins to look like preparation. What once felt like loss begins to look like redirection. This reframing is powerful because it transforms your relationship with your own story. Instead of seeing your past as something that happened to you, you begin seeing it as something that formed you. And when your past becomes a source of wisdom instead of pain, it loses its power to limit your future. Another important aspect of entering a breakthrough season is learning to move without needing constant validation. You begin trusting your inner direction even when others do not understand it. You stop waiting for universal approval before taking steps forward. This does not mean you reject guidance or wisdom. It means you no longer depend on external agreement to honor internal clarity. Growth often requires decisions that others cannot fully comprehend because they are not experiencing the same inner transformation you are. Breakthrough demands courage, the courage to follow conviction, even when the path is unfamiliar. You may also notice that gratitude becomes deeper and more consistent. Not just gratitude for obvious blessings, but gratitude for growth itself, gratitude for lessons, gratitude for strength, a gratitude even for challenges that reveal your resilience. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is forming, and where gratitude grows, fear loses influence. This emotional shift is powerful because your perspective shapes your experience. When you recognize that transformation is already happening, impatience begins to soften. You start appreciating the process instead of resisting it. And perhaps one of the most defining experiences of a breakthrough season is the gradual realization that you are no longer the person you used to be. Even if your external circumstances have not fully changed yet, your reactions are different, your thinking is different, your emotional responses are different. Situations that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable, decisions that once confused you now feel clear. You begin responding from awareness instead of impulse, from intention instead of fear. This internal transformation is the true beginning of breakthrough. External change always follows internal change, never the other way around. There may still be uncertainty. There may still be waiting. There may still be moments when progress feels slow. But beneath it all, something fundamental has shifted. You are no longer preparing to grow, you are growing. You are no longer hoping for change, you are embodying change. The season you are in is not about forcing outcomes, it is about becoming the version of yourself who naturally lives the life you once prayed for. So if you feel stretched, aware, reflective, focused, sensitive to alignment, willing to release, and quietly certain that something meaningful is unfolding, then trust what you are experiencing. This is not random emotional movement. This is transformation in motion. Your breakthrough season is not just approaching from a distance, it is rising from within you, shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you to step forward with clarity, resilience, and purpose unlike anything you have known before. And as you move deeper into this breakthrough season, something even more profound begins to happen. You start recognizing your own power in a way you never truly did before. Not loud power, not ego-driven confidence, but a quiet authority that comes from experience, endurance, and inner alignment. You begin to trust yourself differently. Decisions that once felt overwhelming now feel guided. Uncertainty no longer paralyzes you the way it used to. Even when you don't have all the answers, you no longer feel helpless, you feel capable. This shift is subtle but life-changing, because breakthrough is not just about receiving new opportunities, it is about becoming someone who can stand firmly in them without shrinking, doubting, or sabotaging what you have been given. You may also notice that fear begins losing its voice. It doesn't disappear completely, but it no longer controls your movement. You feel fear and move anyway. You feel uncertainty and step forward anyway. You feel vulnerability and remain open anyway. This is courage in its purest form, not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let fear dictate your direction. Breakthrough seasons demand movement, and movement requires courage. The version of you that once waited for perfect timing begins to understand that growth happens in imperfect moments. You stop postponing your life until everything feels safe, and you start walking forward because something within you knows that progress is more important than comfort. At the same time, your relationship with control begins to change. You realize that forcing outcomes drains your energy, while trusting the process strengthens your peace. You begin releasing the need to micromanage every detail of how things unfold. Instead, you focus on what you can control: your mindset, your effort, your consistency, your integrity. This shift creates an incredible sense of freedom. When you stop trying to control everything, you create space for alignment to work in your favor. You begin to notice that some of the best developments in your life arrive in ways you could never have planned. What once felt unpredictable now feels purposeful. What once felt uncertain now feels guided. During this phase, you may also experience a deep awakening to your value, not the kind of value that depends on achievement, approval, or recognition, but intrinsic worth. You begin understanding that your presence, your voice, your perspective, and your contribution matter, not because someone else validates them, but because they are part of who you are meant to be. This realization changes how you show up in the world. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop apologizing for growing, evolving, or becoming more aligned with your purpose. You begin taking up space with quiet confidence, not demanding attention, but no longer hiding your light. Another powerful transformation that unfolds in a breakthrough season is resilience becoming natural rather than forced. Challenges still come, unexpected obstacles still appear, but your response is different now. Instead of interpreting difficulty as a sign to stop, you interpret it as part of the path. You recover faster, you adapt quicker, you learn more deeply. Resilience stops being something you struggle to maintain. It becomes something embedded in who you are. And this is critical because breakthrough is not a single moment of success. It is a sustained elevation, and sustaining elevation requires strength that can endure pressure without collapsing. You may also begin noticing that your energy feels more focused than ever before. Distractions that once consumed your attention now seem easier to ignore. You become more intentional with where your time goes, who you listen to, what influences your thoughts, and how you structure your days. Focus becomes your protection. You understand that energy is a resource, and where you invest it determines what grows in your life. This awareness naturally leads to more discipline, not because you are forcing yourself, but because you finally see how powerful your attention truly is. What you nurture expands, what you feed strengthens, what you focus on multiplies. As this clarity increases, your sense of purpose becomes more grounded. It stops feeling abstract or distant and begins feeling practical and present. Purpose is no longer just a dream about the future. It becomes something you live daily through your choices, your mindset, your habits, and your direction. Even small actions feel meaningful because they align with something greater than temporary satisfaction. This is one of the most stabilizing aspects of a breakthrough season. When purpose becomes real, confusion loses its grip. You may not know every step ahead, but you know the direction, and direction is enough to keep moving. You might also experience a growing awareness of timing, a sense of when to act and when to wait. Earlier in life, urgency may have driven many of your decisions. The need to rush to force to make something happen immediately. But now, patience feels different. It no longer feels like stagnation, it feels strategic. You begin recognizing that timing is part of wisdom. Some doors open only when preparation meets readiness. Some opportunities require maturity before they can be sustained. Waiting no longer feels like being left behind, it feels like being positioned correctly. Another beautiful shift during this season is the way you begin seeing possibility everywhere. What once looked like limitation now looks like potential. What once looked like an ending now looks like a turning point. Your perspective expands beyond immediate appearances. You begin asking deeper questions. You begin seeing beyond surface-level reality. This expanded perception allows you to recognize opportunities others may overlook because your awareness is no longer confined to what is obvious. Breakthrough often belongs to those who can see what is forming before it becomes visible to everyone else. And then, perhaps quietly, almost gently, gratitude deepens even further. Not just gratitude for where you are going, but gratitude for who you are becoming in the process. You begin appreciating your strength, your endurance, your growth, your patience, your persistence. You acknowledge how far you have come, not in comparison to others, but in comparison to who you used to be. This self-recognition fuels momentum. It reminds you that transformation is real, measurable, and already in motion. You may still have moments of doubt, moments of wondering how everything will unfold, moments of questioning whether the breakthrough will fully manifest the way you hope. But these moments no longer dominate your mind. They pass like temporary clouds instead of permanent storms, because something deeper has taken root within you. Trust. Not blind optimism, grounded trust built from everything you have endured, learned, released, and overcome. And this is where the breakthrough season reaches its most powerful point, when you realize that the external shift you have been waiting for is simply catching up to the internal shift that has already happened. The confidence you built in silence, the strength you developed through struggle, the clarity you gained through reflection, the resilience you formed through endurance, all of it has been preparing the ground for visible change. Nothing was wasted, nothing was meaningless. Every moment shaped your readiness. Soon doors will open that once remained firmly closed. Opportunities will appear that once felt impossible. Connections will form that align naturally with who you are becoming. And when these things happen, you will recognize them, not as random luck, but as the natural unfolding of everything that has been building within you. Your breakthrough season is not just about arrival, it is about embodiment. Becoming the person who can walk into new territory with steadiness. Becoming the person who can receive without fear of losing. Becoming the person who no longer questions whether they are worthy of the life unfolding before them. So if you feel stronger yet softer, clearer yet more open, grounded yet expanding, then understand what is happening. You are not waiting for transformation anymore. You are living inside it. The breakthrough you once prayed for is not just ahead of you, it is emerging through you, shaping your identity, your direction, and your future in ways that will soon become undeniable. And when the moment finally arrives where everything shifts visibly, you will not feel surprised, you will feel ready. And as your breakthrough season continues to unfold, there comes a stage where everything begins to feel more real than ever before, not just emotionally, not just spiritually, but practically. The inner shifts you have been experiencing start expressing themselves through visible change. Your decisions become bolder. Your boundaries become clearer, your direction becomes more defined. You stop hesitating where you once delayed. You stop negotiating with what drains you. You stop returning to what you have already outgrown. And this is where many people around you begin noticing the difference, even if they cannot fully explain what changed. Because transformation, when it becomes embodied, cannot be hidden. It shows in how you speak, how you move, how you respond, and what you refuse to tolerate. At this stage, you begin realizing that breakthrough is not just about gaining something new. It is about fully stepping into what has been waiting for you all along. Opportunities may begin appearing in ways that feel surprisingly natural. Conversations lead to unexpected openings. Ideas that once lived only in your imagination begin taking form in reality. What once required effort now flows with greater ease. This does not mean life suddenly becomes effortless, it means resistance no longer defines your path. Movement replaces stagnation. Alignment replaces confusion. Momentum replaces hesitation. You may notice that clarity becomes one of your greatest strengths now. Where you once second-guessed everything, you now trust your perception. You recognize what is right for you faster. You identify what is not meant for you without prolonged struggle. Decision-making becomes simpler because your priorities are no longer scattered. You know what matters. You know what supports your growth, and you know what distracts you from your purpose. This clarity protects your breakthrough from being diluted by indecision. Another powerful experience during this phase is the realization that your standards have risen, not out of pride, but out of awareness. You no longer accept less simply because it is familiar. You no longer settle simply because something is available. You understand that what you allow shapes what you experience, and because you have grown, what you allow has changed. This applies to your environment, your work, your relationships, your habits, and even your thoughts. You begin choosing what reflects your growth rather than what reflects your past. At the same time, you may feel a deep sense of responsibility emerging within you. Breakthrough is not just personal elevation, it often carries purpose beyond yourself. You begin recognizing that your growth influences others through your example, your presence, your courage, your willingness to change. Whether you realize it or not, transformation radiates outward. When one person steps into alignment, it gives silent permission for others to do the same. You may feel called to lead, to guide, to create, to serve, or to express something meaningful that once remained hidden. This is not pressure, it is expansion. Growth naturally seeks expression. You may also notice that your relationship with challenges transforms completely. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "How is this strengthening me?" Obstacles no longer feel like interruptions, they feel like refinement. Even when difficulties arise, they do not shake your foundation the way they once did. You respond with awareness rather than reaction. You adapt rather than resist. You learn rather than withdraw. This is emotional maturity in action, and one of the clearest signs that breakthrough has moved from preparation into manifestation. There is also a quiet but powerful confidence that begins anchoring you more deeply each day. Not loud confidence that demands recognition, but grounded confidence that does not need validation. You trust your growth because you lived it. You trust your strength because you tested it. You trust your direction because you clarified it through reflection, patience, and persistence. This confidence allows you to walk forward without constantly looking back for reassurance. You no longer need constant confirmation that you are on the right path. Your inner stability becomes your confirmation. As this phase continues, you may begin experiencing moments that feel almost symbolic, moments where you recognize how far you have come. Situations that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. Conversations that once intimidated you now feel natural. Decisions that once filled you with fear now feel like simple steps forward. These moments are powerful because they reveal the distance between who you were and who you have become. They are living evidence that transformation is not theoretical, it is real, measurable, and irreversible. Another defining element of this stage is the deep integration of everything you have learned. Lessons are no longer ideas you understand intellectually, they become principles you live by instinctively. Patience is no longer something you try to practice, it becomes your natural rhythm. Boundaries are no longer something you struggle to maintain, they become part of your identity. Self-awareness is no longer occasional reflection, it becomes continuous presence. What was once effort becomes embodiment. And with embodiment comes freedom, the kind of freedom that does not depend on perfect circumstances. You feel free to be yourself fully. Free to pursue what aligns with your purpose, free to release what no longer serves you, free to move forward without carrying unnecessary emotional weight. This freedom is not given, it is realized. It comes from shedding everything that once kept you small, silent, or stuck. Yet even in this powerful stage, humility remains essential, because true breakthrough is not the end of growth, it is the beginning of a new level of responsibility, awareness, and expansion. There will still be learning ahead. There will still be refinement ahead. There will still be evolution ahead, but the difference now is that you face the future not with uncertainty about your strength, but with trust in your capacity to grow through whatever comes next. And perhaps the most profound realization of all emerges here, the understanding that your breakthrough was never just about changing your circumstances. It was about awakening your identity. It was about remembering your strength. It was about aligning your life with truth, purpose, and intentional living. Everything external, the opportunities, the progress, the visible shifts, are simply reflections of the deeper transformation that has already taken place within you. So when you look forward now, you do not feel like someone waiting for life to begin. You feel like someone actively living in the unfolding of what was always meant to be. You move with awareness, you act with intention, you stand with confidence, you grow with openness, and every step you take carries the quiet certainty that you are no longer approaching your breakthrough. You are living inside it. And from this point forward, life is no longer something you hope will change one day. It is something you shape, embody, and experience moment by moment as the fully awakened version of yourself that your entire journey has been preparing you to become.